Hello there, welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff happening in the VTuber world. Today we talk about Idol Corp, which has been accused of failing to pay some of their contractors. Idol Corp is of course a VTuber agency. It is also the home of your favorite British VTuber and Blahaj simp, Rin Penrose. It all began with this VTuber, Rosa Nagashi, accusing Idol Corp of not paying her for her work. Rosa would say, "Hey everyone, I have something to share about my experience working as a freelance mixer and audio engineer for the VTuber agency Idol Corp." Rosa would also provide a Google Doc detailing her experience as a freelancer with Idol Corp. Now we won't be taking a look at the Google Doc because Rosa has painstakingly copy-pasted the entire Google Doc along with all its contents into the comments section of her call-out tweet. This is what we will be covering. After this, we will be looking at Idol Corp's response as well as Rin Penrose's responses to her YouTube community post. Rosa would begin by saying, "I've debated posting about this for quite a while, but it's gotten to a point where I don't think I have any other options. I would like to shed some light on my interactions as a freelancer, mixer, and audio engineer working with the VTuber agency Idol Corp." Rosa would continue by saying, "I started working with Idol Corp in December of last year when I was invited to do mixing and SFX for their Christmas voice packs. Over the course of the next few months, I did most of Idol's voice packs and even worked on some covers. Very often, these commissions would come in as rush projects, having sometimes less than 24 hours to be completed. For the Christmas voice packs, I needed to do all of them on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, as they needed to get them out mid-Christmas Day. I want to be clear and say that I never minded doing these rush jobs because I could usually fit them in my schedule, and they never required an awful lot of work. I showed a lot of flexibility and always did my best to work fast and efficiently when they needed me. This willingness to work fast in a time of need is important because I received the exact opposite from them," referring to Idol Corp. "On 4 separate occasions in the span of 6 months, I did not receive payment on time, sometimes even having to wait 3 additional weeks before finally being paid for my work. Payments only go out once a month, meaning more than half of my invoices weren't paid on time. I always made sure to send my invoices on time, sent reminders when they needed to be paid, and made them as simple to review as possible. However, invoices repeatedly went unpaid or were even lost entirely, causing me lots of headaches in having to chase them up. I have still yet to be paid for my work, which I did for them on June 13th at the time of writing. At the end of June, an announcement was made that the next round of payments was starting, and we were asked to resend links of our invoices to make sure they didn't miss any. 3 weeks later, no invoices have been paid so far. Normally, I'm pretty flexible with this kind of stuff. The previous 3 times I was annoyed that I was being paid late, but I know that a VTuber agency can't be easy to run, and so I let them take their time." Rosa continues by saying, "Typically, when I reached out about unpaid invoices, they were always paid within the next 48 hours. This time is different though. I have reached out on multiple separate occasions about payments this month, and all I have gotten back is we're working on it. As some of you may know, I have just moved countries. I naturally made a lot of expenses in doing so, and not receiving payments for work I did leading up to the move, which I had to do to cover all my expenses, has really thrown a wrench in everything. As a result, I reached out to the other freelancers who have worked or are working for Idol to ask about whether they were being paid. And it seems I'm not alone. There are at least a dozen freelancers who have done work for Idol in June and have yet to be paid at the time of writing. The commissions range from simple voice packs to art and video editing, mixing work for music, and all of them are unpaid for. I'm lucky that my invoice isn't as big as those other creators, but the combined total between all artists is large. Now, I want to be extremely clear that this is not the fault of the talents or the managers I've been speaking to. The talents are some of the most loveliest people I've ever worked with, and some of them have even reached out to make sure I was being paid enough. They are the reason I've continued to work with this agency despite the issues I've had, because at the end of the day, I just want to work out cool things with cool people. Please don't send any hate to the Idol girls. They're the last people to deserve any. The managers I've been speaking to have also been incredibly understanding, and I believe they are not at fault at all. They simply don't have the ability to do anything else but reach out to the people above them on my behalf, which they have consistently done immediately. Rosa continues by saying, I am out of options. Reaching out to individual managers hasn't worked. Reaching out to the talents I've worked for hasn't worked. Posting about it in the channel all the other freelancers have access to hasn't worked. This is my last resort, referring to the Google Doc and the tweets she has here. Artists and freelancers are a giant part of the VTuber community. These artists have been visibly respected less and less over the years, and it's time for agencies and large creators to stop taking advantage of us. Without our creativity, they would not exist. I am posting this simply to ask whoever in Idol is the end responsible for the payments of artists, talents, and staff to please do their jobs and communicate with us. When you run a large business with lots of staff and freelancers working for you, you are directly responsible for the livelihoods of every single one of those people, and acting with this amount of negligence can and will have significant negative impacts on many of them. We're not too far from the end now. Rosa will continue by saying, if you made it to the end of this thread and you want to help artists be treated fairly, or you're someone impacted by this too, please help share this post to both help the freelancers not being paid by Idol, but also make future freelancers aware of this company's issues. I will post updates about anything that comes from this down below to the best of my ability. Hopefully I'll be able to share something positive soon. Thank you all for reading. End of thread. Right, so this is a horrible situation to be in, because not only has Rosa not been paid, he's made multiple attempts to get paid, and it seems like the people in Idol were aware of the situation, but were unable to do anything. There were also other freelancers working for Idol Corp who also reported delayed payments. So this is not just an isolated incident, it's something that affects a lot of creators and artists working for the company. Thankfully, Rosa did have a happy ending, because after Rosa posted this Google Doc complaining about Idol Corp, this post went viral. The company itself responded, offering to sort things out. The VTuber Rin Penrose also responded to the artist, offering to help her even though Rin didn't really have to. We'll go through Idol Corp's response, as well as Rin Penrose's attempt to help the situation, after we go through what Rosa has to say in response to the VTuber agency trying to fix the situation. Rosa would say, to clear out some confusion, I would like to clarify that payments were originally promised bi-monthly, once on the 10th and once on the 30th, during which the invoices of the previous period are supposed to be paid. Nowhere do they state that payments will be made an entire month later. And on occasions where I was paid on time, it was at the start of the month immediately after the invoice was sent, and not a full month later. Rosa would go on to reveal that Idol Corp has reached out to her. Rosa would say, management has reached out to me soon after this post blew up, and I have just now been paid for my work. However, as you can see in this thread and the QRTs and also in DMs to me directly, there are still a lot of artists who dealt with and are still dealing with these issues of not being paid. Therefore, I will not be deleting this post and will still ask to share it around, as hopefully this gives other artists and freelancers the courage to speak out, get their payments sorted with Idol Corp, and force Idol to make sure this never happens again. It's a happy ending for Rosa, and this is Idol Corp's response to her. Idol would say, we apologize for the poor experience and stress it has caused. We are committed to improving and will address this in an upcoming announcement. In the meantime, if anyone has an unpaid invoice, please contact payments@idolcompany.com and we will handle it ASAP. You can see Rosa, the person who wrote the Google Doc, accepting the apology and olive branch, and she would say, while I'm grateful for your quick communication after this post was made, I am extremely frustrated it had to come this far, and I sincerely hope that visible change is happening in the very near future, so we can continue working with you smoothly. Best of luck to all of you. We now take a look at the VTuber Rin Penrose, who made offers to help Rosa. Rin would retweet Idol's apology to Rosa, and she would say, hey, if we work together in the past and you've had any unresolved issues concerning payment, DM me here or Discord, and I'll bring it up to the guys trying to sort everything out. It's the least I can do. I can't guarantee anything. I didn't actually run this by staff before posting, teehee, but it's worth a shot. Without the work of our freelancers, I'd be out several tens of millions of views. So I want to make sure you guys get the benefit from your own work as well. You can see Rosa, the person who made the Google Doc, thanking Rin Penrose for generosity. Rosa would say, "Thank you so much for being awesome, Rin. Editing your voice packs has been one of the more comedic experiences of my career." Allegedly, Rin would respond by saying, "Truly, you are God's strongest soldier." We had Rin's manager Lani in the comments saying, "Please feel free to message here, Discord or email as well." Discord is lani.idol. Email is lani@idolcompany.com. Now we take a look at Rin Penrose's official statement on her community post. There's even a cute Pikmin here. How adorable. Now let's take a look at Rin Penrose's important notice. Maybe we'll even find out today's Rin fact. Rin would say, "If you've done any paid work for Idol Corp in the past and you have unresolved issues regarding payment, please message me, Twitter or Discord, or contact my manager Lani, and we'll do what we can to get stuff sorted for you." Her Majesty continues her speech. "It came to my attention earlier today that several people who've done creative work for the company haven't been paid in a timely manner. Whilst I'm not at leisure to give you all the details, I can confirm that it's a real issue going on. As someone who has benefited hugely from that work, all the shorts, cover songs, original songs, art overlays, etc. on my channel wouldn't be able to exist without it. I think it's only fair that these people should also be able to benefit from their work. Please be aware that most of the staff at Idol, including literally all talents, lol, don't have any control over where our money goes. Most of them have had no hand in how this has turned out. Shout out to Lani especially. She's doing a lot of really important work for all our sakes right now. Also, shout out to Mina mostly because she helped me make a bunch of Shakespeare and Hathaway gifts, but that's a personal thing." Her Majesty Rin Penrose continues, saying, "I will admit it's a tad daunting speaking openly about this stuff, but I think even if I get in trouble, it will have been worth it, lol." Second shout out to Lani for having my back on this one. You're so real. With that in mind, do not bring this up for other Idol talents. We know what's going on and there's only so much we can do whilst managing our own problems. Don't be overly rude towards upper management either. It won't solve anyone's issues any faster. And if you're rude towards the freelancers themselves, then man, I don't know what to tell you. Thanks for your time. Support creative people. Never be afraid to speak out about your problems. Remember to double check your bank statement from time to time and go check out Lala's birthday stream tonight. He's earned it. Anyway, here's Rock Pikmin. Rin has always had a strange sense of humor, so yeah, here's Rock Pikmin. I guess it's funny. Rin is very funny. This isn't Idol Corp's first time encountering problems. There was an issue with the Donathon rewards a while back, and now apparently they have payment issues with the freelancers they work with. But at the end of the day, at least there's a happy ending. At least the artists are getting paid. Rin didn't really need to speak out on this matter, but I think it's a nice gesture she did for the sake of the artists, making assets for her. While there are still other artists who haven't been paid yet, I think Idol Corp will sort it out eventually. Let's just take a look at two more freelancers who have worked with Idol Corp in the past before we end this video. Goodbye, Rock Pikmin. The CEO of Idol Corp hasn't responded yet. Obviously, he could be trying to fix problems behind the scenes. So enough about Aviel, let's take a look at the two artists. RC would say, "I can vouch for the claims made here," referring to the Twitter post made by Rosa Nagashi. RC would continue by saying, "Having worked with the agency since January of 2023, I can say that this has been an issue since day one for me too. The constant delays in payments, management being silent unless called out, it's all too familiar to me. Back in mid-2023, I, much like Rosa, planned to confront Idol's management on this matter, contacting other editors, collecting receipts, and piecing everything together. I only stopped because Aviel, the CEO, directly contacted me to address the issue. Hell, he even made good on his promises, and for a time communication and payment went smoothly, at least for me. However, it's been over a year since then. The issues have returned and persisted for months now, which is affecting everyone we checked." So he's saying Idol Corp used to have a problem paying artists, and then they fixed the problem, and now the problem is back? This is interesting. And apparently he has checked with the other artists regarding whether or not they have been paid on time. And apparently they haven't. I'll see what continue by saying, I prefer not to make any receipts public as they don't just affect Idol, but the editors and talents present in them as well. The latter two being innocent. But if Idol continues to neglect this issue, I don't see any other way of getting their attention. He's implying something here. This has to stop. We now take a look at the freelancer Yushoku, saying, I hate getting involved in drama, but I feel this is important to talk about. I've had similar issues with working for Idol as a mixer, from the brutal less than 24-hour deadlines to payments nearly 5 months late. The talents and management are all incredible to work with. Yushoku would say, I did follow up with management about the invoice and got told I'd be paid soon, but only got paid when I agreed to a new project more than 5 months after the invoice was sent. Similar issues have occurred in the past, just with less of a gap between projects, so I got paid sooner. I thought that maybe my invoices had just been lost in the crowd, but knowing now that this has happened to not only myself but a lot of others makes me really sad. Freelancers are the backbone of this industry, and companies need to respect us as we respect them. I will admit that I regret not reaching out to others working with the company about this, as I'm quite shy and don't like messaging people out of the blue. But knowing I'm not alone has given me the confidence to speak out as well. So thank you to all for sharing your stories. To clarify, I really love working for Idol. It's so rewarding seeing your work out there and working with the talents, but this just makes me disappointed. Not just that it's happened to me, but the sheer volume of freelancers that have had problems. Do better, please. I also want to put this out there in case others have had this. I found that Idol pays less than my rates. They also don't pay rush fees. I don't know if I'm allowed to say how much I was paid, but a mix-in less than 24 hours for less than my standard rate before rush feels really wrong. Shoku would end with this. Under tight deadlines, I also usually don't get told how much it pays until after it's released, which definitely puts me in an awkward position. Please reach out if you have also had this experience. As you can see, lots of problems with the way Idol Corp handles payments. Lots of people and freelancers who used to work for the company or are currently working for the company are all speaking out. Hopefully Idol Corp sorts out this situation soon. Before we end the video, I just want to say, do not harass the VTubers, do not harass the freelancers, do not harass Aviel. And remember, sometimes calling out a VTuber company is the only way to get their attention to fix things. There's literally no other way otherwise. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. This is Terry Nebula signing out.